about business and entrepreneurship and all things startup. My main man Kyle, how's everything with you today?
Hey, Jake, I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm Kyle. I'm a franchise consultant and business broker in Austin, Texas. We are here to talk about entrepreneurship, and I'm doing pretty well. I've had a good bit of travel going on, some non-work related things, and back in the office now, and ready to hit it.
And I will reiterate one of the things I was saying earlier. We are an early stage fintech company here at Amplify, and we're looking to raise funds from angels and VC investors. We're trying to launch a new product soon, and my team is working to get that over the line, which is not easy, but it is exciting. And we're looking forward to launching that in the next week or two. And Whiny Whimper is asking, "Are you? What's the difference between a franchise consultant and a business broker? What does that mean?
That's a good question.
Is that
Thanks. I
is
don't
that
have
like a
Reddit up right now, so I can't see it. So I appreciate you sharing. And, a business broker is primarily tasked with helping people who own existing businesses market them for sale on public markets to other people who would like to buy them. So a franchise consultant, on the other hand, is more involved in the buy side. So franchise consultant is going to help somebody who is looking to get into a franchise business, but may not know what kind is the best for them, and take stock of your skills and your goals, and build a business model around that, and then build a portfolio of franchises that are going to be a good fit for you and help you through the due diligence process, getting to the point where you can make the investment and get started on your own business. That's the difference. I do them both. So one's buy side, one's sell side.
And yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So, a lot of people retain a franchise consultant at no charge when they would like to be in business, but they just don't have any ideas about what they want to do. And it just seems like an impossible hill to climb. But they're also committed to perhaps developing a second stream of revenue, income, or firing your boss altogether and getting started on your own. It's a great way to go,
Mm.
especially if it's the first time that you've been running a business.
Whiny Whimper's asking, so with a franchise, you don't mean like buying a franchise from, for example, a well-known burger place?
Yeah, we don't really do fast food. There's a lot of industries that are out there. I'd say that, some of the industries that are really popular now, or anything home consumer service, sending technicians and trucks to people's houses, children's education, boutique fitness, health, beauty, business to business, professional services, senior care, automotive, and some
I went to
retail. Yeah.
a franchise expo a number of years back, and I'm in equipment finance. I was looking for people who were looking for equipment finance to get
Yeah.
equipment, just trucks and restaurant equipment, in addition to their franchise. And it was really enlightening to me. There's just a plethora of franchise opportunities out there that are off the shelf, that are all sizes and shapes and fits. And I think a lot of people think of that kind of restaurant thing when they think of franchises, but
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
ton of stuff out there.
Yeah, that's a good point, is that, franchising comes with its own sort of baggage, and, that is that we often think of fast food because that's where franchising got its start in the US, was in fast food in the 50s and 60s, right? But, there's a perfect storm for franchising. These conditions have to exist. One, it's a service or a product that people are going to buy every day over and over. Two, there's already tons of competition, lots of mom and pop players all over the place doing it. And three, there's no dominant player, right? So when you have those conditions that exist, it's ripe for franchising. Now, in the 50s and 60s, fast food was it. There was already a burger place in every small town in America, and then the franchises came along. Um, Nowadays, there's plenty of other industries that are in that perfect storm that fast food was in the 1950s. So in the 2020s, I'd say anything home consumer service, mosquito spraying, residential painting, irrigation, residential cleaning, roof repair, all of that stuff, general handyman. There's tons of competition out there, and that's the perfect place for a franchise to take and keep a dominant market share.
So Wani Wimper had two more questions. One, so people come to you and now we got three questions. There's a lot of questions coming. I might have to connect you and Wani Wimper. So people come to you and say want to have a business but don't know what business. So you also coach people to find their purpose, kind of like a career
Yes.
counselor.
Yeah, exactly. So, I do psychological profiling. We have online exams. I spend usually about 2 hours. I've actually met some people from Reddit that have gone through the process and are now, researching businesses. So that's kind of cool. But we'll spend 2 hours usually by Zoom if you're not local. I'm here in Austin, Texas. And we'll talk about, big existential questions like, what do you want to do with your career? What's motivating you to get into business? And just real specific things about what kind of aspects of the business are going to appeal to you. And then we build that portfolio, and I coach you through the process of asking the right questions, presenting well to franchisors, doing the diligence, talking to other owners that are out there, and getting the financing that you need. So yeah,
Do
it's
you
a full size package.
when do you hand over? Because you help with you help people fund the capital for a business. You help them choose a business. You
Yep.
help them feel out their strengths. Do you help them launch and do hiring, or at what point do you kind of hand it over?
Yeah, no, the handoff actually, that's a good question. It occurs when you sign the franchise agreement and get into your franchise. At that point, what you're doing is you're entering into a partnership with a franchisor partner who will train you on how to run the business, help you find real estate if you need it, help you with hiring, help you, basically get up and running, assign you a coach to help you, and maybe an accountability partner. So that's where the handoff occurs. Once you've found your business, our work together is done. And then the franchisor takes it from there and helps you to get up and running and profitable.
Very
Trying to get
cool.
deep
And
into it.
Whiny Whimper is just very interested. You guys will have to connect on Reddit. What's your suggestion for achieving business growth? Now, this is the kind of topic we love to speak about here at the Founders Way. We like to talk about sales and hiring people and how to launch businesses. But Kyle, basically, as the question was directed to you, what is your suggestion to some of these startups for achieving business growth quickly?
For achieving business growth, follow the system. Uh, so with a franchise, you've got basically a license to do business a certain way. And it's not about taking a franchise and trying to make it better or letting your own freak flag fly. If you want to do that, you should start your own business. But if you are a leader and also coachable, and committed to being successful, and committing to following a process, then franchising is a great way to go. But I say follow the system. Specifically, most franchisors that are good, they know their customers really well. They know how to market the business really well. And they know that you need to spend money to prime the pump to get that revenue and profitability up and running as fast as you can. It's a race to profitability. Yeah.
And how does your style, Kyle, compare to other competitors in the market? Now, you are again a franchise consultant, so you're there just to help people feel out what is the best franchise. Do you see other people in the franchise business as partners or as competitors?
Other franchise consultants, you mean?
I assume. How does your style of working compare to competitors in the market?
Um, well, that's a really good question. My competitive differentiator, obviously, I'm working with a company called FranNet. We are the largest and oldest franchise consulting firm in the industry. We invented it. I've been doing this for 12 years. I mean, I've been in business for 21 years, running businesses, an MBA in entrepreneurship, a BBA from the University of Texas. I got a couple of business degrees. I've helped hundreds of people do this successfully. And I've got an eye for people who are serious about it and people who are not, and people who are ready and who are not. And if you're not ready, I'll let you know and I'll give you the pathway to get ready. And if you are ready, I'll help you out so you can get there. And, you know, uh, I'm trying to get to link or I'm trying to get to Reddit, but I'm having trouble with that. It's hard to do two things at once. But the point is, I'll follow up right after this stream is over, and um,
I think Winey would like to find out a bit more.
Yeah.
And I meet with Kyle once a week. We typically meet on Wednesdays at afternoon time here in the East Coast, 11 o'clock Central. And so I have time to ask him plenty of questions. But we love to get questions from the audience, so we're involved. There's
All
another
right.
Kyle out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's me.
oh, you.
Yeah, I'm on here now. So I can see, uh, you know, a lot of, I can see
Kyle,
the
was that
questions. So.
did your degree help you to get into franchise consulting, or was it just your lovely personality who
Well, what
helped
I
your
do is
career
also a
take
franchise.
off?
So, the short
Is
answer,
it
yes,
also a
the MB
franchise? Friend that's a franchise?
yeah, we're all local owners. So, yeah, I've
Interesting.
been running this for 12 years now. Um, FranNet is a franchise. And yeah, the MBA in entrepreneurship definitely helped. I already had a BBA from the University of Texas, and quite frankly, that is an awesome degree. Stellar university, world class, but definitely geared towards either being a consultant factory or paving a path for the corner office for you. And I wasn't really interested in that ultimately. So after 13 years in the industry, I decided to get an MBA and focus more on running a small business. And yeah, it helped. It helped a lot. Actually, I went into franchise consulting after getting that MBA, after seeing the light. Yeah, got out of tech entirely.
And Wani, I come from the equipment finance industry and went out to start my own fintech business because I was frustrated with how antiquated and slow the industry moved, and thought I would jump out and try to build something. I got a master's in digital innovation for fintech,
Wow.
and
So that's
it
probably
helped.
relevant to what you're doing. So I have a question, Jake. How was that relevant, or how did it help? Um,
My degree, I used to see people post on Reddit, and I posted on Reddit, and I tried for a long time to transition because I thought I was in equipment finance and had a good base to try to get into fintech. And it's extremely hard. And you'll see, I think, almost every day, if you go to Reddit sales, people, looking for ways to get into fintech and to get into SaaS sales. And I found
yeah,
it incredibly difficult. And so I went to get to the degree to see if I could open some doors up into the industry. Little did I know at the time, in taking that degree, which was very entrepreneurial, that it would lead me in an entrepreneurial direction. And I did not plan to take the degree and start my own business. I planned to take the degree and go work for a big company and push a digitally innovative strategy. And coming off the degree and working at big companies that just didn't have the customer in mind, they didn't have good tools, and they didn't have a mind to improve, because believe me, I tried. Um, I decided to go start my own thing. So, but I did not expect when I took the degree that I would be heading in this direction.
what a funny turn it took. And
When he says their masters did nothing for them.
oh well, not all the degrees are the same, I suppose, right?
Yeah,
Um,
maybe
and
Wani has
I've
a
seen
master's degree
plenty
in
of.
history, a master's degree in liberal arts.
Yeah, well, some of them are pretty good, especially if you wanna do academia or you wanna go deeper into a topic like that, and it all depends on what you want, right? And, I mean, I didn't get my MBA until I was 36, so, it took me a while to figure that out, and,
MBAs are very powerful, and I think even in this day and age, where they do go at a premium, from having done a lot of research on them, I think MBAs are very powerful and do set people out.
yeah, they can be. I was just trying to be real careful after already having a BBA to not waste time doing the same old thing.
But I think there's a really important point, particularly in this day and age where lending is different, and um, we're dealing with the cost of money changing very rapidly, and the worth of your college education with
Yeah.
inflation. Could you put that money into a degree, which is extremely expensive, or could you invest that into a business and get your own real world education?
That's a
Something that
very business-oriented way
a
of looking
master's
at
in
it.
economics couldn't get you.
That's a very business-oriented way of looking at it. So, uh, like I said, it's so varied what you could do with an education. I think that, um, you know, well,
I think education personally, I think education is the 80-20 principle. I think there's probably 20% of people out there that actually benefit from their education, and 80% that pay for it and go through the motions that really don't get as much from it as they could.
Yeah. Well, um, I think that good questions. Winding Whipper said, didn't want to see some redundancy in an MBA after having a business undergrad. And that was the situation I was in. And I was really careful. And I only looked at strictly entrepreneurial programs. I had no desire to be corporate office, a corner office. I wanted to be running the business. So I was kind of picky about it. Um, somebody asked, "What is the most the best pieces of advice you got when starting out?" Jake, what do you think? Do you have mentors that really gave you some advice that stuck with you?
Uh, Elon Musk recently was asked a question, and he answered, uh, "Would he advise someone else to do a startup?" And he said, "Absolutely not." And I would have to agree with that. Even though I'm doing it and I'm loving it, it is a wild ride and a bit of a rodeo, and I couldn't honestly recommend it to many other people unless they were really up for it. But the startup fintech environment is and just that startup environment is a very different environment. I meet a lot of founders now, and they're all exhausted and busy and don't have enough time, and their faces are tired. Um,
Yeah,
and it is just not for everyone, man. It takes a certain
yeah.
breed to do it and stick with it.
I think that when I think of the pieces of advice that really stuck with me, they're all pretty big picture things. One is if you're going to get an MBA or something like that just to get more money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Or if you're going to start a business just for the more money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. There has to be another motivator besides that, right? That's coming from within.
What
Um,
motivates you? What motivates you, sir? When you wake up in the morning, what's the thing that pops in your head that makes you want to
I love
franchise?
changing people's lives. My passion,
I
and
like
this is
that.
a
That's a
thing that
great
I
answer.
discovered in the ethics component of my graduate degree, is my passion is for helping people be the best entrepreneurs they can be. And so I'm happy to do that. And I'm passionate about doing that all day long, every day. Um, to the
Someone's throwing some cliches into the chat, and so I'm gonna give my favorite business cliche. Do you know the one about the what is it? How do you escape the lion? Do you know that one? You know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, I don't know. I was
How
laughing
do you
about
run
the Usain Bolt
how do you
quote. I'm
run
like, yeah,
faster?
how does he be
How do you
faster? First, step one, have great mitochondria in all your cells.
how do you
Okay,
run
great.
faster than a how do you run faster than a lion, Kyle?
Uh, I'm just be faster than the person, the next. I want to be the next
I
fastest
don't
person.
I don't have to be faster than the lion. I just have to be faster than you, Kyle, and I can
Yes.
outrun that lion.
Yes.
And I think
You know what? And that's the thing that can crush a person's dream, man. When the weight of the world crushes your spirit, when you realize that it's really hard to be the best at anything, right? Like Usain Bolt might be the best at running. And I can run, but not that fast, and I never will. And I could be a good business person, but I'm not the best, and I never will be. But that shouldn't be number one. You know what? That leads me to a great piece of advice: is don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Is
that's a great
nothing's
one.
going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect. And I found that perfectionists, what they can't do is let other people do the work for them, which the only way you're going to build any scalable wealth is to be like, all right, you guys got this. You're my team. Go. But if you're the type of person that's like, you know what, if I'm not doing it, it can't be done right. You're gonna have a bad time. You should just go work for somebody else who's living
And
their
this
dream
is a this
in
is
the
a
business.
conversation we come back to from time to time, and I'm a strong believer that there's just so many small businesses out there that don't grow because the owners think the only way to get more money is to like do more work, and so they try to jam 80 hours into every week, and it increases the top line, but they get exhausted, and they get in a trap where they can never actually hand off some of that work. And it's having those systems and abilities, to delegate, that's going to differentiate people and give some people the opportunity to scale. But I wanted to actually to disagree with one thing that you said a moment ago. Um, and I do agree, like people's mentality shouldn't be the best. And I think it's a very important point that like perfect is the enemy of good. You have to get things done. But one thing that I wish I learned when I was younger, one piece of guidance that no one gave me that I feel is true now, is that I feel for young people, whether it's work or a hobby or personally, you should have one thing in your life that you know very deeply.
Mm,
If you want to be successful in this world, and particularly if you want to be an entrepreneur or go the startup route, I see people sometimes asking like, "Hey, I want to do a startup. What should I do?" And I find that to be a very weird question. But I feel like to really be successful in this modern world, that you should find one thing that you like and really know it deeply, whether that's cooking or cleaning cars or social media or marketing websites. Find one thing and really dive deep. And that's a way to avoid that kind of obsolescence and just having a corporate job where you can kind of be replaced.
yeah. You know, that's managing risk in a way, right? And I think that the risk is another big deal that we don't often. Well, I mean, it's out there, but if you want to do well in business, you have to be willing to put them on the table. You got to be willing to take the risk because it's really true. There's nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Put the cards on
And
the table and put yourself out there. That's a big part of business is
yeah, and if
having
you
the
think that there is no risk in just taking a job. You have to ask yourself, well, where's that job going to lead you? How's it going to end? Are you building any equity? Do you own that thing? The answer is no, you don't. And if you quit your job and go find another job, how do you think that one's going to end? And, ask yourself, are you just scurrying from one illusion of security to the next until you die? Or do you really just want to acknowledge that risk exists? We live in a world that's like that, and just own it, take it on and lead it. That's kind of it's easy to say, tough to do, right? I've taken a ton of lumps trying to put that in practice, but
that is the only real way to grow. And we typically do a half-hour session, but I have to jump a little bit earlier
yep,
today. Kyle, were you going to stick around and speak to the crowd?
I can. Well, I mean,
No, I've got to actually shut down Reddit. But
yeah, you got to
Wendy
shut down
Wimper, we
Reddit.
appreciate having you on board today. All of our viewers, we appreciate having you here, and we love to talk about business and appreciate your engagement and feedback. That always makes it a lot of
Absolutely.
fun. Kyle, it's always an absolute pleasure to see you. And I am away next week, but we will be back on Wednesday afternoons, the Founders Way, 12 o'clock Eastern. And we hope to see some of you guys board at lunch around again.
Yeah, episode 18 in 2 weeks. Good to see all y'all. Thanks for the good questions.
Great to see you, Kyle. See you
Bye
soon.
bye.